Oh, hello. Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, what is the single best new card from the Hobbit for the 99 of your Commander deck? The answer is Orcrist Goblin Cleaver. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell. Support us on Patreon, join our Discord, follow me on Blue Sky, Threads, Insta, Friendster, Faceblop, and MySpace. Check out our next Whatnot stream, and thank you to our sponsor, Jonathan's Surplus Aquarium Supplies. Jonathan's, why pay full price on substrate? Oh, what's that? You actually want a video discussing the subject? Well, I guess we can do that. Video starts 5 minutes in. Nah, video starts now. Why is Orcrist the best new card from The Hobbit? And what else from that set is the best for your Commander 99? Let's start with the former, shall we? Orcrist Goblin Cleaver is a 3-mana legendary equipment that grants +2/+2 and trample. It's also got a hefty equip cost of 3, but it's not hard for Orcrist to make up for that initial mana investment with its combat trigger. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token for each creature you control of a type of your choice. It's easy to see why many Magic the Gathering players are talking about this card. The first and most obvious comparison is to an existing card that's also a cleaver, the Reaver Cleaver, another legendary equipment with the same mana value and equip cost as the Goblin Cleaver. The Reaver Cleaver also gives trample, but unlike Orcrist, it only pumps the equipped creature by +1/+1. The treasure-making component is different as well. Both equipment make a handful or more at a time, but where Orcrist makes treasures equal to the number of creatures you control of a specific type, the Reaver Cleaver makes treasures equal to the power of the equipped creature. The Reaver Cleaver is also red rather than colorless. At a baseline, the Reaver Cleaver is usually going to make more treasures on combat damage than Orcrist. But while Reaver Cleaver is gated by the power of whatever your largest creature happens to be, Orcrist's ceiling is as high as your battlefield is wide, provided you're running a Kindred deck, that is. Kindred decks regularly have upwards of 5, 10, even 15 or 20 creatures of the same type in play. That's their whole game plan after all. In these situations, the mana production on Orcrist is unbelievable. Few other cards can rival Orcrist on that front. What's more, as an equipment, Orcrist is one of the most tutorable card types in Magic. Equipment tutors and artifact tutors are plentiful. If you have a copy of this card in your deck, you're likely to find it pretty much anytime you want it. Where Orcrist gets really silly is with one of either Aggravated Assault or Time Sieve in play. Either permanent goes infinite if your Orcrist is generating 5 treasures or more, virtually guaranteeing you a win. The Orcrist is absolutely a powerful card in The Hobbit, likely the most powerful card in The Hobbit for your Commander 99. Did Kindred decks really need a card this busted? Who's to say? Perhaps me in a future video that you will watch after an ad. But either way, Kindred decks certainly have a card this busted now. Thank you, The Hobbit. But Orcrist Goblin Cleaver is not the only powerful card from The Hobbit for the Commander 99. So presented here are my picks for the top 5 best new Commander cards that are not named Orcrist, as well as 3 honorable mentions. As we are only evaluating cards for the 99 in this video, any legends we discuss will be only for their utility outside of the command zone. So let's begin with, what's that? Ha! I'm here! I made it into Magic the Gathering! Oh my goodness, is that? Yes, it's me, Zelda, from the popular game series The Legend of Zelda, and I'm in Magic the Gathering now. But Hasbro just announced their licensing deal with Nintendo. Magic the Gathering sets take years to make. Why would you possibly think you were immediately gonna be in a Magic set? Because I'm surrounded by magic things. I see Strixhaven, I see Spider-Mans, I see Lorewinds, I see Marvel Superheroes. Whoa. I see a Hobbit hole filled with magic cards. Oh, silly Zelda, you're not in a magic set. You're in Micro Center. Wow, Micro Center. It's like a terrifying labyrinth of savings where the boss is friendly customer service. I love how each Micro Center dungeon has a new item for your inventory. What did you find in this one, Zelda? Ha! This Bamboo Lab 3D printer for $549.99. And check out my new Sheikah slate. I mean this Dell laptop for $699.99. I also have acquired this Power Spec pre-built gaming PC for $1399.99. Oh look, it's Magic the Gathering product from new or recent set. I must acquire it. I need all the rupees. Wait, you don't have to do that because Micro Center sells Magic the Gathering products at or below MSRP. Really? Please don't break my pots. Smashy, smashy, yeah! There's a vast open world of Micro Centers to be explored with over 30 locations in the US, including one opening soon in the far-off realm of Austin, Texas. So venture into your local Micro Center today for the best deals on computers, computer parts, electronics, and maybe Magic the Gathering things. My pots. My grandmother's ashes were in one of those. Thank you, Micro Center, for sponsoring this video. Yeah! Before we get to the list itself, let us begin with not one, not two, but 3 honorable mentions. All 3 of these cards are likely to see a lot of Commander play, but none of them are quite unique enough to be worthy of inclusion in a true top 5 best new cards for your Commander 99. The first 2 of these are a pair of new rare lands that are instant auto includes in 2 very specific but very popular decks: Lonely Mountain and Elvish Passage. Lonely Mountain is a mono-red land that enters untapped if you control an equipment. It can also tap to make a 2/2 dwarf token for a red mana +4 generic minus the number of equipment you have in play. The value Lonely Mountain provides isn't game-breaking by any stretch, but in a dedicated equipment deck, this is essentially a mountain with 0 downside, with a minor but very real bonus. And yes, I mean this is literally a mountain. It has the basic land type Mountain. Did you read the name? Reading the name explains the type line. I'm gonna sell that to you on a t-shirt one day. As a real, literal mountain, the Lonely Mountain is fetchable by any red fetch. This can give you as many as 5 copies of the land in your deck. As a result, there is not a red equipment deck in all of Commander that does not want to run this card. And speaking of not a single blank deck in all of Commander that doesn't want to run this card, how about Elvish Passage? If you don't have an elf in hand or in play to behold, this is a strictly worse Evolving Wilds. In other words, stone unplayable. But in a dedicated elf deck, this land is virtually always going to be actual, factual, prismatic Vista. You know, the $25 or so universal fetch land? Elf players, I don't know which one of you was praying to Wizards of the Coast to get a second prismatic Vista for your elf deck, but congratulations on having your wish granted. I have one more honorable mention that I want to shout out. It's an awesome card. It's certainly strong enough to make it onto a true top 5 list, but I left it out on account of its mana cost and its color restriction. Bard, King of Dale, is a 3/5 legendary human noble archer for 4 generic and 1 of each of Azurius mana. He's got reach, vigilance, and a pair of, if something would happen, something else happens instead abilities. Abilities he borrowed from a pair of very strong and highly played 4 mana enchantments. 1 white and 1 blue. The first of these abilities is Teferi's Ageless Insight. If you would draw a card outside of the first one you draw in your draw step, draw 2 cards instead. This enchantment does literally nothing on its own, but paired with any card draw effect at all, and it suddenly becomes bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S, bananas. You know card draw, it's that thing that blue players get to do anytime they blink. As such, Teferi's Ageless Insight is played in 215,000 blue decks, according to EDH Rec. The white side of Bard, King of Dale, is Anointed Procession. If you don't know what Anointed Procession does, it's the same effect as Elspeth Stormslayer, or Mondrak, Glory Dominus, or Exalted Sunborn. Or, if you're familiar at all with non-white cards, Adrix and Nev, Twin Casters, or half of Doubling Season, or half of Primal Vigor. In other words, it's an extremely common effect. And it is also an extremely powerful effect, which is why anytime it appears on a card, that card spikes to another bracket. No, not commander bracket. It spikes to another tax bracket. Look at these prices. As a wielder of both Teferi's Ageless Insight and Elspeth's static ability simultaneously, Bard King of Dale is a great card for any Azurius deck that would want either of these effects, and an utterly obscene card for any deck that actively wants both. Alright, on to the list proper. First up, if you liked Bard King of Dale, you're going to love his wife, the Queen of Dale. No, she doesn't have a name, but that doesn't stop her from being legendary. The Queen of Dale is a 2-mana, 2/1 human noble with a triggered ability that makes great use of the new recruit mechanic. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, you recruit. Recruit is a variant on Connive. When you recruit, draw a card, then discard a card. Except unlike Connive, which nets you a +1/+1 counter if you discard a non-land this way, Recruit gives you a 1/1 token. Same overall power increase, but spread out across 2 bodies. Commander is full of non-creature spells, from ramp to card draw to interaction. Many decks are built entirely around non-creature spells. The ubiquity of these spells makes the Queen of Dale absurd in go-wide commander decks of all kinds. Passive card selection and board presence from turn 2 onward, all for a trivial mana investment. It will not be uncommon for the Queen of Dale to recruit 3 times in a turn cycle. And you shouldn't be surprised if it's even more. That's because she doesn't just trigger from the first non-creature spell your opponents cast on their turn, she triggers on the first non-creature spell they cast on anyone's turn. If you have the Queen of Dale out and an opponent counterspells a farewell, you'll recruit twice from a single stack. The Queen of Dale is particularly excellent in humans decks and tokens decks, both of which have extra synergy with Recruit. But she's also excellent alongside Enter the Battlefield effects, anthems, sacrifice effects, and so much, much more. Heck, even a white value deck wouldn't mind running this, even just on account of the card selection and discard outlets. The Queen of Dale is an awesome card, sure to see play anywhere from bracket 2 to bracket 4. But she's only the 5th most awesome card in the set, not named Orcust Goblin Cleaver, that is. Next up, we have a wild draw cards off your opponent's deck effect, one that could rival the similarly templated Villainous Wealth in play rate. Inside Information is a sorcery for X generic and 2 black mana that reads, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You may play those cards this turn. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value, rather than pay its mana cost. The comparisons to Villainous Wealth are clear. Both cards exile X cards from an opponent's deck and let you cast spells without spending mana. There are a few key differences. The first is that you have to pay life with Inside Information, whereas Villainous Wealth lets you cast them without paying any cost at all. To make up for the life you pay with Inside Info, though, you get to cast any spell this way rather than ones cheaper than X. What's more, Inside Information is mono black rather than Sultai. This is by far the biggest boon to the card over Wealth. There are many different kinds of Steal Your Stuff commanders, a practice henceforward referred to as yoink. Yoink! And while Villainous Wealth would be a natural fit in many of these decks, the vast majority of them are not Sultai. In fact, almost none of them are green at all. Villainous Wealth, therefore, is more of a value card in a mid-rangey Sultai deck than it is a card for the Yoink archetype. Inside Information, on the other hand, is a phenomenal card for pretty much any Yoink deck. Conti, Knight Minister, Tasha, the Witch Queen, and Nita, Forum Conciliator, are some of the best possible homes for this card. Each of these commanders trigger anytime you cast a spell that you don't own. So if you cast multiple spells off of Inside Information, you get multiple triggers off the commander. Treasures, demons, or +1/+1 counters on your entire team. Yes, paying life is a real cost, but black decks have lots of ways to recoup life you lose. And besides, your life total is a resource. You start with 40 life per game, and you can't take it with you when the game ends. Even beyond yoink decks, I could easily see Inside Information slotting into black decks with plenty of life gain, as these decks will have tons of spare resources to cast whatever they happen to hit. Imagine pointing this card at an Eldrazi player. You made these cast triggers? No, I made these cast triggers. Number 3 on the list is a green card that offers an interesting blend of 2 very different effects. Dancing from Dark to Dawn is a 5-mana enchantment with, whenever you cast a creature spell, add +1/+1 counters to target creature equal to the spell's mana value. It's also got landfall, make a 2/2 bear. The latter half of this effect is a recognizable one. There are countless permanents with landfall, make a creature token, somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 in fact. One such card is Zendikar's Royal, which has an identical mana cost to Dancing from Dark to Dawn and makes an equivalent body. 2/2 elemental rather than a 2/2 bear. With how many of this kind of card there are in Magic, Zendikar's Royal is frankly too weak at this point to warrant a slot in most landfall decks 99. But for all their similarities, Dancing from Dark to Dawn is a lot better than Zendikar's Royal. That's because of that first ability, buffing a creature in play equal to the mana value of your creature on the stack. The additional triggered ability does 2 things. First, it makes the card much more worthy of inclusion in your average landfall deck. Second, it gives the card utility outside of landfall decks, namely in creature decks, especially those creature decks heavily featuring bears. But really, any deck that's reliably triggering this card once per turn is going to get enough value to warrant inclusion. By triggering off both lands and creatures, Dancing from Dark to Dawn ensures that you are getting extra value from nearly any card you happen to play. If on the turn after you play Dark to Dawn, you play a fetch land and cast a 6-mana creature, you're adding 10 power to the board on top of however big the creature you cast is. Think of Dancing from Dark to Dawn as a kind of variation on Primeval Bounty. No, it doesn't include non-creature spells in the fun, but it costs 1 less mana. And besides, if you're playing green, then what even are non-creature spells? Am I right? You big and strong, you play land, you cast creature. Leave non-creature spells to is-it nerds. Nerds! So what are the 2 best cards from The Hobbit for the Commander 99, aside of course from Orcrist Goblin Cleaver? Well, if you thought Orcrist was giving Kindred decks a powerful effect they didn't need, just wait till you see what the number 2 card on our list is giving artifact decks. Fateful Discovery is an enchantment for 3 generic and 2 blue mana. What does it do? Simple. Whenever an artifact enters play under your control, draw a card. That's it. That's the card. Ship it. Faithful Discovery doesn't have any of the clauses that tend to prevent a card like this one from being utterly disgusting. No once per turn clause, no one or more, no non-token stipulation. As a result, Fateful Discovery is, well, utterly gross. You may be surprised to learn that for all that artifact-based card advantage engines are incredibly common in Magic, there is not a card quite on the level of Fateful Discovery anywhere in the Commander card pool. You've got cards that loot whenever an artifact you control enters. The new Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur does what Faithful Discovery does just once per turn. Joyra is a popular Izzet commander that draws a card when you cast a historic permanent, but that does not draw off tokens. Fateful Discovery is therefore in a class of its own. The closest comparison really is Guardian Project, but in a much more blue lane. Clues, treasures, food, thopters, servos. If it's an artifact token, you'll draw a card. You'll also draw a card anytime you blink a permanent, such as with Brago, King Eternal, or Displacer Kitten. The biggest drawback with Faithful Discovery is its mana cost. 5 is a lot to pay for an enchantment that technically does nothing on its own. But if you have a 0 mana artifact like Mox Opal or Mishra's Bauble to cast the same turn as Faithful Discovery, you get value from it right away. The same is true if you make artifact tokens in combat like Loyal Apprentice, Brutaclad, Telkor Engineer, or yes, even Orcrist Goblin Cleaver. And the moment you untap with Faithful Discovery, the number of cards you'll draw in a single turn will leave you with more resources than you'll know what to do with. Artifact decks are already one of the most powerful strategies in Commander, and now they have one of the strongest card advantage engines the archetype has ever seen. But for as strong as Faithful Discovery is, it is not the number 1 card on our list. There's something even stronger. And here we are, the best card for the Commander 99s, not named Orcrist, is yet another white card. That's right, I can already hear the comments complaining that white is getting too many Commander cards in this set. In all sets, white's getting too powerful. I should do a video complaining about that. Remember when I did a video complaining that white wasn't really good in Commander and it needed more support? Here we are. Anyway, Gleaming Splendor is a 2-mana enchantment that reads, whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you create a treasure token. It's also got an activated ability. For 2 colorless and a white, 2 target players each draw a card. Gleaming Splendor is kind of like if Smothering Tithe and Monologue Tax had a baby. Drawing cards is one of the most powerful things a player can do in Commander, and indeed all of Magic. It therefore happens in a typical Commander game somewhere in the neighborhood of all the time. Every archetype does it, from creature decks drawing off cards like Welcoming Vampire, to enchantment decks drawing off Enchantress effects, to artifact decks drawing off, well, Faithful Discovery for one. And if players aren't cooperating, avoiding their second card draw for turn, Gleaming Splendor has you covered with a way to make them do so manually. The activated ability is awesome. You draw 1 card, and whoever's turn it is draws 1 as well. That's a net positive exchange of resources. You go up a card, and your opponents in total only go up 1/3 of a card. And of course, you get a treasure for your generosity. Gleaming Splendor is not as powerful of a card as Smothering Tithe, but no treasure generator really is. Rather, Gleaming Splendor is just another card of Smothering Tithe's type that provides consistent ramp to white decks that sorely need it. And it costs 2 less mana, meaning you can get this down early and ride the mana generation for the rest of the game. Gleaming Splendor offers a variation on Smothering Tithe that isn't a game changer, making it something you can easily play in lower brackets and higher ones alike. And most importantly, it's way less annoying having a Gleaming Splendor in play than it is having a Smothering Tithe. If anyone's getting a little prickly at your treasure generation, just toss them a card to smooth things over. Problem solved. And there you have it, my top picks for the Commander 99 from The Hobbit, but now I want to hear from you. Did I leave any cards off this list that you wish I had talked about? Let me know in the comments below what you love from this set for your Commander 99 and where you plan to put it. And remember, if you are looking to pick up everything and anything from Magic the Gathering cards to Commander precons to even accessories like a deck box designed by me, the Professor, just go to cardkingdom.com/TCC and check out our amazing landing page of Magic the Gathering items and accessories. The Academic Deck Box is back in local game stores worldwide, but if it is not at your local game store, then you can go down to one of mine. Just by visiting cardkingdom.com/TCC, you will find their ample resupply in both classic and new colors. And I couldn't be happier because the Academic Deck Box is a box that I helped design in partnership with GameGenic, maker of some of the best Magic the Gathering accessories on the market today. I wanted to make a deck box for everyone, whether you play Standard or Commander, whether you want to store your cards by themselves or individual deck boxes within the Academic, and whether you single, double, or even triple sleeve, whether your deck's all foiled out, whether you got thick inner sleeves, the Academic holds it all and more. It's something I'm extremely proud of, a deck box for everyone, made with the highest quality and, again, available at local game stores worldwide or via my Card Kingdom affiliate link.
Next time much shuffle up and play. I can't wait to see what happens.
We Hearthstone now because I've invited not one, but 2 famous Hearthstone streamers here today.
I'm gonna kick you in the shin.
Because I like you guys all so much, I'm gonna play Esper Sentinel. You want me to read it?
Are you
Urza.
kidding me?
Great. I'm gonna go ahead.
And pay the 1?
TGB, it's turn 1. Can you
Tezzeret.
relax?
Tap for 3 to play Phyraxia Unlife.
It's a miracle! Improvisation capstone.
Just let me know when I can kill you.
And that kids is called gentle parenting. I hit you once.
Listen, hit me again.
Relax, okay?
Hit me again.
You can't just ask that, okay? That could cost money.